going on, everyone, and welcome back to this week's installment on The Lake Show. Now, I'd like to welcome my next guest, my own cousin, Kyle Miller. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I can't complain. Well, other than school being a pain in the ass, like usual,
I know, trust me.
and not being able to work the amount of hours I would like to work, but, I'm managing.
Yeah, getting by.
Yeah. How's the semester going for you?
This semester's been a bit of a kick in the butt compared to last year. Like there's just a big jump in the workload, but like you said, we're getting through.
That's good. That's good. All right. So for those who don't know my cousin, go ahead and give yourself a background.
My name's Kyle Miller. I am a sophomore at YSU. I'm majoring in chemical engineering. I went to Lowville High School and actually was in the same class as my cousin and Dom's brother, Vinny. He was on here. And I'm also the older brother to Kid Carter Beats, who is also on here.
Yep. That's so true. It feels so weird looking, just seeing you on campus. I think the biggest gut punch for me was actually, I literally saw you. I forgot about this. I saw you when you were on a campus tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. You were getting the tour of the campus, and then, of course, I come up and just walk with you guys.
Yeah, it was the winter, and I was in a T-shirt. Everyone was in a hoodie.
I don't get why you would do that, man.
I know. I remember that you said something to me about it then.
Like it was 30 degrees out. I was all bundled up in a hoodie, and I had my winter coat on. Like, dude, you straight hoodie, straight shorts and a T-shirt. That's all you were in.
Yeah, I was different back then.
Apparently, you were built different. So you said that you were going for what kind of engineering again?
Chemical.
Chemical. What made you lean to chemical? I thought you were going for mechanical for some reason.
Well,
did it ever flip flop? Like, did you ever think?
I started out initially going for chemical. A couple of times I've been a little like unsure of my choice, like throughout freshman year and stuff. But I think what made me kind of stick with it going into this year is having chemistry with Miss Patchner in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that class. Her along with Solak.
All my fellow Loveville students will know what we mean by that.
Yeah, they'll know. They were the chemistry teacher, and then Solak taught geometry and
all the other math
calculus. Yeah, so those were probably my two of my favorite classes in high school, and I just kind of found a love for math and for chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that. I don't have a love for math, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, I loved it in Solak's class, but, ever since I got to college, well, one, you remember, I didn't do business or anything like that at first. I was in nursing. Mm-hmm. So started in nursing, then criminal justice, then, settled in marketing and communications. So it's like, I haven't had to do a math class in forever. So now, I was really good at math. I wasn't I wasn't super fantastic, but I was not an idiot by any means. Now I feel like, unless it has to do with cash or actual money I'm handling, like, I feel like the biggest idiot when it comes to math. And I know for a fact in engineering, you have to know math for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of math. And I will say, like, day to day, I'm not, using what I'm learning in Calculus 3 at the moment, but...
Really?
Yeah, not yet, but maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. I still enjoy it.
Not using something you're learning in class. That's a revelation in the school and education system. That's crazy.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So how was your freshman? What was your biggest takeaway from your freshman year?
The biggest adjustment, I'd say, going from high school to college would be figuring out my studying habits.
Mm-hmm.
Well, more like my lack of studying habits.
I was about to say, everyone who went to Lowville, at least my friends, we know for a fact that we didn't really study that much. That's for sure. So
no, classes were not the hardest in my opinion. So yeah, it was kind of like the night before, which that doesn't fly.
You were a night before type of person.
If anything, period before.
Oh my God, Kyle. Your mom and dad are gonna kick your ass.
I got good grades.
Did you?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I didn't have a 4.0. I got 1B in freshman health, but the rest was A's.
You got a B in health class?
Yeah, I don't.
How?
I don't remember the reason why. I think there's some project and I'm pretty sure we went on vacation like the week of, and I just didn't really feel like doing it.
No.
So yeah, I got a bad grade on
I
that.
remember getting packets, like, and it was one of my science classes. I got a fucking packet to do, like, over Thanksgiving break one year.
Mm.
Didn't touch any of that packet until, and honestly, it was like 50 questions, but like, if you really broke it up, 5 questions a day
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad.
wouldn't be bad at all. But no, my dumbass, and this was years and years ago. This was before, I had to be before junior year of high school or even sophomore year of high school. It was a long time ago. But, my dumbass decided to wait till the very last night, the night before we go back to school, of course, to do all 50 questions in a packet, which, you know, I don't agree with giving homework over a long ass break like that. But at the same time, I had ample opportunity to actually sit down and actually do the assignments.
Yeah, I feel the same way with that one, and we had a similar packet that we got, I think, over COVID with Miss Reamer. No one really did it, but I think back then, we didn't think about
Again, Lovo kids will get it.
as much.
Lovo kids will get it.
Mhm.
Oh, that's funny, man. So, what would you say, like, how long did it take you to break those, bad habits you had when it comes to studying, at least?
Honestly, I'm still working on them like to this day, but
Still.
when I would say I started getting a grip on it and getting it under control would probably be my second semester of college in chemistry too, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Preparing for like the finals in specific, like I probably studied, I don't know, 2 weeks in advance, which that's all-time record for me.
2 weeks in advance before one exam? Who are you? Did you look at yourself in the mirror and, like, you were proud of yourself for doing that?
Yeah, it wasn't fun while I was doing it, but it paid off.
I would say so. And that's one thing I've preached to people, especially the younger generation who maybe are seniors. Obviously, your brother and,
Hmm.
my cousin. I tell these kids, like, you know, you have to commit on graduating. You have to commit yourself to changing everything you know about high school. Those days of, skidding by and waiting the period before or the day before an exam to study and actually review your stuff. If you come into college with that attitude, you're setting yourself up for failure. I would know because I almost got kicked out.
Yeah, I've had some, punches in the gut. I think everyone has, but like for example, in chemistry too, believe it or not,
Heard a lot of
first
bad things about chem too.
first exam, I think I ended up getting it back. I got like a low or mid D. That was like the first time in my life. So that was a real
That you got a D.
yeah, that was
Anything
real,
horrible like that? Yeah. That's how it was for when I took my first anatomy test. I did good at anatomy in high school, but
Mhm.
again, those bad study habits. High school anatomy it's nothing like college anatomy. So
I believe that.
you can imagine how well my grade was. I didn't even get a D. I got an F. That's how bad it was. I think I got like a 34%.
Ooh.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom. Yeah, Helen's not going to be too happy with me on that one, but she knew that I was not a great student, but
Mm.
early on in college. But like I said before, for kids coming into college or even kids like whatever it is you're passionate about, like if you're going to school for it, you better bust your ass and you better study ahead of time. You better get everything that you need from your classrooms and your professors. You better get everything you need in order to study for those exams. Because sometimes, guess what? Shit's going to end up on that exam that you may,
Not expect.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
I had that last week.
I've had that quite a few times over the past couple of years in college. It catches you. That's a gut punch too. It's like, you think you're studying. Well, are you? You sure you're studying enough?
Yeah.
Well, those are those gut punches we need, I'd say.
Yeah. Gives you like a look in the mirror, makes you reevaluate, adjust how you are gonna attack the next exam.
That's for sure.
Mm.
So walk me through your process when, you were a senior in high school not too long ago. So walk me through the process of, obviously my uncle, your dad, he has his, philosophy of what he's told me about, running his business and everything. He's I've kind of leaned into that to, just get his 2 cents on some things. And so is there anything that has stuck out with you that maybe he's taught you over the past couple years, like maybe that would have swayed you away from college at all?
It was swayed me away.
Or maybe encouraged you, or something that he said maybe that, while you were deciding, like picking on a college to go to?
I don't think there's necessarily anything that like swayed me into it or swayed me away, but he's always just wanted me and has preached to me to, have like multiple options, like not to box myself in and say, this is 100% what I'm going to do. And like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay if I would have to change my majors, which you never know. It's only first semester of sophomore year. Like I still could.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do also have a business on the side that I pursue. So I never know. Maybe I'll end up doing that instead of chemical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I'll go all the way through and get a job in the industry.
So keep your options open no matter what. I'd say so. I agree with that. And I tell people all the time, like, don't be so stuck in your ways. Be open to, learning new skills and gaining more knowledge about whatever it is. It could be, nursing, it could be business, it could be engineering, it could be anything. Keep your options open to the point to where, like your dad, like my uncle would say, is don't box yourself in. So, I felt like I did that for a while. I boxed myself in thinking that college was the only way, thinking that college is going to be the ticket I need to automatically be successful. Well, guess what? That's not the case. Especially nowadays, obviously, we see so much crap on the internet, like swaying kids away from college. And me personally, I've said this before, if, I knew what I knew, like if I knew what I know now, back like when I was a senior in high school, I probably wouldn't have went to college. That's just me personally. Has there ever been a moment for you where you, contemplated like maybe college isn't for me, so early into your college life?
So far, no, I have not had one of those moments really, but I will say, like, I've talked about it before, like, I'm still not dead set, like, on my major. So there have been times where I've thought about that. Like you said, I have thought about, do I go mechanical or do I not? But I think it just takes time to, figure these big life things out. Like, you can't just know that off the top of your head.
Your early 20s are going to really speak volumes about you. Like they're really going to, these are the times in your life where, you're going to take the most hits. You're going to take the most gut punches. Like you're really going to be beaten down by a various amount of shit that's just thrown your way in your life. You know my story. You've heard it. Yeah. Everyone in our family knows like exactly what I've, tried to deal with over the past couple years. But I think that overall it's made me a better person. Being put through all that struggle and all that hardship has hardened me, gave me a thicker skin, and gave me a new real outlook on life. Like I have a different way of attacking it rather than, people who have dealt with anything have always, a lot of people find themselves running away from shit. Yeah. Running away, like they'll deal with it, they'll put it off. Well, guess what? Eventually all that shit catches up to you and you're going to come crashing down. And that was the case for me, at least, early last year. I've been open and honest about that. So that was a difficult portion of my life. But, even though I haven't gone to therapy in about a month, I'm at the point where, I really don't feel like I need to go, but I'll go, monthly, periodically just to check in and stuff like that. It's weird. It's like I don't even know how to really explain it other than the fact it's just weird. I've been given help, not even really like, cause I did the work, but given, 2 cents on, this is what you should do. This is what you should do, like to change this outcome. Now it's like more on me than ever. So it's like, I'm kind of in a weird transition phase where stuff from my past, like it comes up, it still bugs me from time to time, but now the way I pursue it and handle it is a lot different than what I would before.
Yeah, it sounds like you've kind of been nudged like slowly towards the right direction. And now you're at that point where you could, steer yourself.
Yeah, now it's just the point of, finding out what the hell I really want to do the rest of my life. Now, I've
Yeah.
settled in communications and marketing because it was the best fit for me. But obviously, I've told people before that because I was so shitty in college, my first couple of years, it hindered me from taking advanced courses in different programs like business admin or accounting or finance or anything like that. My GPA would have held me back from that, even though I was already doing better in school.
Yeah.
This is what people don't realize is like when you go to college, but that's why I say you better bust your ass, because if your GPA gets low enough, one, you're going to be put on academic probation, which I almost was. I was one semester away if I didn't get my shit together. And I was never a bad student. Well, I claim to be never a bad student. Obviously, I've had shitty grades, but
Yeah.
it's just something that you really have to take serious. Now, maybe college isn't for you. Maybe your major isn't for you. Now, that's okay. But no matter what it is, give it 100%. Like,
Yeah.
no matter what you're doing. Obviously, you said it's possible that you may not end up in engineering, or you may not end up doing chemical. You might do mechanical or anything else in life.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing right now, give it 100%. And I would tell anybody this, like, no matter what you're pursuing in life, give it 100% effort. No, like, don't hold anything back. Because guess what? If it turns out like maybe you're on the fence of what you're doing right now and you give it 100% effort and you're seeing the results from it, maybe you'll enjoy it more. Like, maybe you'll lean into it more. So,
Yeah, and to touch on what you said, like with giving it your all, like out the gate, I think my story with high school can speak to that. Like freshman year, ended up getting a B. Senior year, I should have been in the running for, valedictorian with a lot of my other classmates, but because of that one B, I was behind all of them. I still got salutatorian, which, believe me, like I'm so grateful and happy to say that and accomplish that. But that one little thing,
it's just
come
one
back and
thing.
bite you in the butt, like
Yeah.
4 years later.
Yeah. It's, a lot of things will come back to bite you. A lot of things that you may not have taken seriously
Yeah.
a couple of years ago now, rear their ugly head and make you realize that, wow, like, if only, like, that's where the what ifs come into play. That's where a lot of people get hung up with is, what if I did this? What if I did that? Well, that's why we're all living proof of it. Like, we should have done this, we should have done that, but we're all living proof that, give yourself give it 100% effort. Give it 100% every time, because you never know what's going to happen later on in life. You never know what's going to come back to haunt you in a way.
Yeah. If you give it 100%, you won't be stuck sitting there saying, what if this, what if that?
If you can confidently say, like, you gave it your all, you physically couldn't do any more to create a different outcome from yourself,
yeah,
then that's just life.
Yeah, you just have to move on.
You just have to move on at that point. So let's transition a little bit. So you mentioned, obviously I've known this for months, but
yeah,
tell my audience about your business now.
Yeah, so I'm wearing the shirt right now for those who are watching on YouTube. I own a car detailing business called Don't Forget the Detail.
There you go.
I opened it as an LLC last summer, I believe. So over a year. And I pretty much just detail people's cars. Yep.
You got to start somewhere, though. That's always, detailing cars can get you, it can get you a lot of money.
Yeah, and there's a lot more to it. Like, I have different packages depending on, what people want to fit their needs. I also have I offer mobile services, so like I can go to people if they don't have the time to take 2 cars, drop one off, go back, come back out later.
No, of course.
It saves them a lot of hassle.
Yeah, that's good. So what does that one entail? Like, what do you bring with you? I imagine, is it a lot of stuff that you bring with you to do mobile?
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Just a lot. Like, if I were to list it, it'd be a long list.
Okay.
But in short, I bring a kind of like it's almost a ladder, but it's more of a platform to stand on to reach the roofs of SUVs and taller vehicles like trucks. I bring an electric power washer. I bring a blow dryer. I bring a vacuum.
Bring a little blow dryer, just a little one.
You can't go so big, like not a leaf blower or anything. It's specifically made to.
Again, I wouldn't know because I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of. I'd say it's a little nozzle, but it creates like, a lot of force onto that area to blow the water off.
Mhm.
And then besides that, I bring stuff to do like the actual wash, like my buckets, my mitts, all my chemicals and products.
Yeah, the basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so walk me through how, what's your pricing like? And like, how does that compare to what you buy your equipment for? Obviously, chemicals and all that cleaning stuff, obviously, you're going to have to keep buying that stuff eventually. So, walk me through your costs of, the equipment you buy compared to, what you charge.
I honestly don't really have a number for what I buy. Like I kind of just went all in when I knew like, okay, like this could work for me. I could do this as a job throughout college. So I
Okay.
kind of went all in and bought most of the stuff maybe a year and a half ago. But as far as costs for pricing, they could range anywhere between 100 is my cheapest, and then 250 is the most expensive. And then those are just the base fees. If people do want mobile, that is going to be a little bit of a upcharge with me
Well, of
having
course.
to pack everything up, drive out to them,
Of course.
come back.
That's smart. That's smart. So how many cars do you typically like to do a week?
In the school year, it's a lot less than it was in summer, but
Of course.
typically now I'm doing, I'd say 2 to 3.
2 to 3 a week?
Yeah.
Do you have any specific dates that you tell your customers, like, these are the days I'm available? Because obviously school, like, if you're in it, you're taking out all this money to be in school. Obviously, you have to take that serious.
Yeah, like some days for school, I'm here until like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
That's disgusting.
God, the night physics class is gross.
Why do you have physics at night? I've never heard anyone have physics at night.
My schedule didn't fit any other way. It was the only spot I could take it, unless I just didn't take it. So
Well, you'd have to take it eventually.
yeah,
So you might
I figured I will do it now.
Yeah,
It is gross, but it's only 2 days a week.
that's good.
Yeah.
Is it one of those hour 15 classes?
It's from 5 to
It's one of those.
6:50.
Yeah, one of the hour 40s.
Hour 40.
I hate those I hate
It sucked.
when I was in criminal justice, I had so many of those. I had like 2 of them in one semester. One of them was 3 days a week and the other one was 2 days a week. It was like an hour, hour 15 for one of them. I think that was the 3 days a week, and then I had 2 of them. It started at, I think, like 6:10 or 5:10, and then went till like 6:50 or depending 7:50, whatever time. It ended so late. Like it was just miserable.
Yeah, no, it's gross. Like you just want to go home the entire time.
And that was pre-COVID, so it sucked. It sucked even more because I don't really know why. The school just sucked pre-COVID and during COVID, obviously. But I pulled myself out of the mud from that that shit show. You didn't go to college yet.
Not during COVID, no.
I've heard stories of how it was like back in high school.
Oh yeah.
College was miserable.
I'm glad I did not have to go through.
You better be glad, because it was the worst we thought it was cool, at first. At least I did. I thought it was cool because everything, not cool that a pandemic was going on, but cool that, okay, we'll have class online, which I kind of liked at first. But, it's kind of funny when spring break happened that year. Now, we were younger. I didn't, have an ID or anything. None of us went to Fort Lauderdale or some shit. We went to Kalahari.
Mm-hmm.
So I go there, pandemic was a thing before we went for like 2 days. Then we come back. Everyone is masked up. I'm getting emails left and right like, okay, school's going to be online for, another week. We're going to extend spring break a little bit. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can deal with this. And then it turned into, like 3 or 4.
Longer.
Yeah, it turned into months all online. It was the worst experience ever. Well, give or take on who you ask. Worst for me because of my grades, but also the best because all I did was play Warzone.
Yeah, I kind of agree. In high school, it felt really nice, like being from home and all that. Like that's when I got into working out and stuff too, but just having all that free time. But at the same point, like I learned almost nothing. Like I was thinking about doing something more sciencey as a major, like kind of based in anatomy.
Okay.
But after I took anatomy during COVID, and I did not like I did not learn
Yeah,
enough to take that in college.
you're not gonna learn. You for stuff like that, anatomy, like anything that has to do with the body, you got to be in class for that
Yeah,
shit. It's
I
it's
agree.
it's difficult, that's for sure. But oh, during COVID, we didn't even have to for all my classes. Like we didn't have for all of them. We didn't even have to have our camcorders on for some of them. So you can imagine how well that would go. I mean, we had attendance points, for logging in and being there. So teachers still do that, but I log in. It shows me in class. I'm in class,
Yeah.
but I'm not paying attention. I played Call of Duty the whole time or anything else. Literally the entire time. I had one AirPod in, connected to my laptop to act like, yeah, maybe, okay, let me just hear what's going on, just in case they call my name, like to answer something. But no, in reality, I didn't pay jack shit attention to anything.
Yeah. I mean, I tried at first in high school, but eventually, like you said, we were allowed to have the cameras off and stuff. So, like a specific memory would be in Miss Irusi's. I forget what we were taking. Might have
Irusi go
or something. But yeah, I'd have my camera off and I'd just play like Plants vs Zombies. And then every now and then,
What a classic game.
yeah, I played on my phone. And every now and then, I would unmute and answer a question. And she like loved me throughout the whole thing.
Oh man,
And she thought I was paying attention the entire time. But like,
the teachers had to know that we didn't care. The teachers, they had to.
passionate.
Oh, Patchner knew.
Yeah.
Patchner can see through all of us. Like, she knew the bullshit we were up to.
Yeah, we came back. We were, like I said, we took anatomy online that year, but we came back later in the school year, and she was like, "Yeah, I know you guys like didn't learn anything, so we're gonna take a test based on everything we've done before." And you have like I forget how long she gave us to prepare for it, but we kind of reviewed for probably a week or two.
Damn. That kind of makes sense. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
I would have done horrible, so I don't blame her for any of that. So
I don't.
let's swing back to your business. So, can you give me a reason why you started it?
Well, my dad has always been into cars. He's always wanted to go fast since.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, we know. So,
We know.
so he's always had them.
Uncle R, we know you're a speed demon. It's okay.
Yeah, he's always had them. He's always loved them, and he used to maintain them himself, washing them. And eventually, I didn't have a job in high school, so one day he kind of came to me and said, "Hey, if I could, show you what I know, teach you how to wash cars, and I could pay you, I forget what it was at the time, maybe like $10, $10 an hour, and you could clean our cars."
I thought you were about to say $10 flat. I'm about to say that your uncle's fleecing you. What kind of capitalism shit is that?
No, it was nothing like that. So yeah, so that's how I started. I pretty much just did soap and water washes, just the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I probably started doing that maybe around sophomore
Okay.
year, roughly.
In high school, right? Okay.
And I did that all the way through high school, and then I ended up getting a job like halfway through my senior year. I got a job at Handles.
Oh, I know.
I worked there for about a year, but throughout my time there, I'm like, man, I'm putting in all these hours and I'm getting, it's a good paycheck still because all the hours, but I'm putting in a lot less time at home and making similar money. So I kind of realized then, if I could kind of scale this, grow this to be an actual business, I could be making a lot more profit on my time.
100%.
Yeah.
More money for your hour. That's for sure. That's why I like my job right now because it works with me. I've told people this, like I actually on my last week's episode I told my buddy Ivan that for school, especially me being in my last semester, I need to dedicate at least 70% of my time to school. Like I have to be on campus in order to get anything done.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm the same way.
we have Xboxes at home, we have TVs, we have we have family, we have a million other distractions like that can consume our time. But when it boils down to it, I mean, you have time on your hands. I have no time just because, and by saying no time, I'm talking about like, when it comes to making decisions about.
Yeah, like you're at the end of.
I'm at the end of college. Like I will not leave anything to chance. even though maybe I'm still a little skeptical on a few things, I'm not going to leave anything to chance when it comes to, graduating this semester.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure I do everything in my power to make sure that, nothing gets screwed up. My classes are taken care of, exams, everything. Application for graduation, like everything. I busted my ass too hard just to, fuck up, just to be here another semester when I don't have to be. So that's why it's imperative that I'm here at least 70% of the time. And then, work consumes another 15 to 20%. And then obviously a social life, which honestly, I'd like to have. Yeah, I'd like to have, but at the same time, I don't really have one.
Yeah.
Other than my social life includes, my friends at work who I talk to and my friends on campus who I run into and sit with and talk with. And then every now and then, my buddy's house that I go over But other than that, like my podcast consumes like the other, 10 to 15%, because I just want to, I'm trying to grow something too. So it's like, do you ever find yourself struggling with time management?
I would say that was another kind of growing pain going into freshman year. First year having the business, first year being in college, and to try to learn how to manage and handle both was a bit of a challenge. But now I'd say that's kind of one of my strong suits. Like I feel like I can manage my time pretty well now at this point.
You ever has there ever been a point where you were faced with a decision like me where maybe your friends want to go out and go do something, or either you have something to take care of for your business or you have something to take care of for school?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah,
all the time. I obviously just growing out, your clientele, like it's not going to be huge to start with. So the small amount of repeat customers that I have held and maintained have been, my priority. Like if something comes up, like say I'm going to go to the YSU football game or something with my buddies.
Yeah.
But work comes up and they're asking to say change the time, or someone's asking to get an extra detail in that day. Like I'm going to put that first and take care of what I have to, make sure those relationships with my customers are strong.
I mean, I think that's another thing that I really touched on last week, and I'll touch on again more so like every time I have people on is, you're going to grow apart from, people, not necessarily, be on bad terms with them. But I'm talking about priority shift. You're whatever you have going on in your life, whether that's school, whether that's owning a business, whether that's owning a podcast, whether it's pursuing any of your goals or dreams that you have, your priorities shift. Like for me, you could probably guess, even when, our house situation, when we lived under your roof, how many times I came stumbling in, of course, probably under the influence. I mean, it's happened, but I used to be a party animal. Now, I don't really care to.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And it's not necessarily the fact, there's also nothing to do around here. Like, I know it's
just hang out with your buddies.
Hang out with your buddies and that's always fun, but it's either that or go to the bars. It's like the bar scene and anything like that, that's run its course for me. So I don't know if you're ever going to be a part of that, just because from a young age, you've been, running your own business and realize like what it takes to uphold and maintain that sort of thing. So you don't really always have the downtime to do something like that. But that's one kick in the ass that I needed to get over was, you got to focus on, schooling. You got to focus on what you're trying to build and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have time to go out night after night after night and drink and blow your money. Like I stress about money when I have $300 in the bank account. And, I've lived paycheck to paycheck for a long time just because, I never had the amount of time to dedicate fully to work to where I can save up a good portion. But, that was a kick in the ass I needed, realizing how much money I was blowing on alcohol, how much money I was blowing on eating out. Like there's just so many expenses that people don't realize that will consume your life in college that you have to be very careful to not fall into that fucking well.
Yeah, I can't speak on the going out much.
You better not be able to.
Yeah, one, I'm underage. Two, I'm just not a party guy in general. But
Uh-oh.
I could speak on eating out. I
I
spend an unhealthy amount of money at Chipotle
Yeah,
here
me
on
too.
campus.
Chipotle, Hotheads, Chick-fil-A. Well, not so much Chick-fil-A anymore just because I work there and it's like, that was the only thing I ate for months
Yeah, you
when
got
I
sick of it a little bit.
got sick of it a little bit. But it's just like I don't even just like I don't know why I find more time, standing in a line in Chipotle or Hotheads rather than the fast ass drive-through line of Chick-fil-A. I don't know why. I just feel like it's consumes more time. But, in reality it probably does.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm at the campus Chipotle probably like 4 days a week.
Kyle.
Yeah,
God dang it, Dan.
they don't know me by name. I don't think we've ever.
Do they know you by order, though? Do they know what you're going to order?
They know my order. Sometimes they'll give me like free bag of chips or a free drink.
There you go.
Because I'm there so much
That's how the Hotheads is in Boardman.
with you.
Yeah, they don't know me by name, but they know my fucking order. That's for sure. It's stupid of how much money we spend on fast food.
Oh yeah.
But we're circling back. Like, one thing I've realized is, a lot of things in your life are going to change when you decide to focus on, you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are people pleasers. A lot of people are trend followers. They just want to be part of the next big thing rather than grow something themselves. Like, I feel bad for those people who will never. I feels like some people are never going to grow up. Not anyone I know. I'm just talking about like the masses when it comes to our generation. On social media, on colleges across the entire United States. It's like I feel like some people in this generation are never going to grow up. They're never going to learn their lesson. They're going to be irresponsible. Drink all the time, not be able to hold down a job. It's like, some of these things. I think that lifestyle is, the complete opposite of what you should be doing in your 20s.
Yeah.
Like my early 20s, I'm still in my early 20s, but the biggest mistake I would say I made from 20 to 22, even some parts of now, is constantly going out, constantly doing this, constantly doing that, blowing money on worthless and useless things. It's like, eventually it's going to smack you in the mouth and make you realize that start focusing on your future. Start focusing on stuff that is going to propel you forward in life. Stop spending money on the stupid shit in life.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've always been horrible at because I've done it for so many years, but it's something I've gotten over quite a bit.
Yeah, it's just I never really struggled too much with the budgeting. Like there's not much that I want. Like
I have expensive taste. That's why I'm the way I am. But again, I was always a partier.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I can say that like in my free time, especially in high school, not so much anymore, but I used to be like big into Xbox and watching YouTube or courses or
we all were.
Whatnot. Yeah. And I think that was an adjustment for me as well, like realizing that, okay, I'm spending, too much time doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And so you gotta, prioritize yourself. Like me personally, I go to the gym. It helps me, relieve stress, stuff like that. Or I'll spend time studying to prepare for exams. But I do think it's still important to like maintain that you could do that for yourself. Like you could have some free time and you could still spend it on games or stuff, but just not like how it used to be where you'd come home from school and play games from whenever you get home to whenever you
literally from 2:00 in the afternoon till like 9:30 at night, not a care in the world. That's what I miss. That's the only thing I would say I would miss about back in the day is when I was growing up like that. Me and my friends never studied a lick for school. All we did was go home, hop on GTA 5, hop on Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2. It's like Halo 3. Like we hopped on the games from hours and hours and hours on it. That's what, even when we were growing up for like spring break or, winter break or anything like that, we all looked forward to that just because of the amount of overnights, the amount of all-nighters I've pulled playing Call of Duty, GTA, Halo, you name it. I stayed up all night one night with a friend or multiple friends doing that.
No, I believe it. A lot of my summers or just school nights in high school were were spent playing like Rainbow Six Siege or
Yep.
something like that till 3 in the morning when everyone's like irritated and
Yeah.
just had enough.
Nowadays, I find myself falling asleep early as shit. Are you still a night owl? Because I know for a fact you all up late.
I don't know if I'd still say I'm a night owl per se, but
What's the earliest you fall asleep now?
earliest 11:30. I can't like fall asleep unless it's close to midnight. I don't know why. There's always something.
You know what time I can fall asleep?
What-
You know what time I can fall asleep at?
What the
8:30. I swear to God, I can fall asleep at 8 o'clock now and, not think twice about it. I've always, you know me, I've always been a night owl. I've been up late, all-nighters, everything. Sleep is the most underrated thing you will be able to have nowadays is sleep. So, a Saturday night drinking compared to 8 hours of sleep. Before, I was all about, I can go out to the bars, go home, sleep 3 hours, and go to work.
Ooh, no, I've never been that bad.
If I don't have at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep, I ain't going to work.
Yeah.
That's how bad I feel.
Yeah, all through high school, I was running off 6 hours. I don't think I ever got really more than that. But now I say I average probably around 7.
Yeah. I average probably 8 to 9, give or take, just because one thing that I've noticed, I do everything so quickly. When I dedicate time to like I said, I dedicate time to school and my studies. I dedicate time to my podcast. I dedicate time to the gym and everything else. I find myself rushing through it a little bit.
Yeah.
Unfortunate
feeling sometimes where
then I feel like I have,
packed.
I feel like I have a packed day, and then I get home, I'm like, well, shit, I don't know what else to do now. Like, I feel like I should be doing something.
Yeah, I'll probably feel like that later. I had the same type of day. I left school at 3. I went home, got a lift in, took a shower, gathered all my things, rushed out the house, came back here.
It's only 6:30.
I know it's only 6:30, but
even so, it feels like there's so much more time in the day.
Yeah. And after this, Carter's playing. He's actually back to playing football, so I'm gonna go watch.
Is he? He's back at it.
Yeah, he's going on kickoff tonight, and then tomorrow morning he'll be playing the full game.
There we go.
JB.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to head over there and support him.
That would be a fun time. I miss that. I'll be honest with you. I still think about football. I still think about that from time to time. Football and baseball. I imagine you think about basketball.
Yeah, for football and basketball.
You ever find yourself thinking of those days?
Yeah, part of me does, part of me doesn't. Like
certain things.
Yeah, I don't know. There are certain things, but like looking back at it, like just for example, Chad Nashdog, we would have him come down and lead the lifts. I think it was my sophomore year of high school. And those were like the most intense, the most grueling workouts. Like they were horrible to go through at the time.
Oh, I heard.
Looking back at it,
I heard the war stories.
Yeah. But now looking back at it, like, God, like that was kind of fun. Like I would do it again, but part of me is also like, I'm okay if I wouldn't have to.
That's understandable. Yeah. I wouldn't go back. Just
go back.
I'm really looking forward to, the latter years of my life. I'm really looking forward to what the rest of my 20s and my early 30s have in store for me.
Yeah.
I just have I have a lot of plans right now that I'm trying to act on. I just, the only thing that's keeping me from completely acting on all of them is school.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Once school is done, I can focus all of my energy on, basically my hopes and dreams and my goals. So
yeah, I know you're spending a lot of time here, and I mean, it was funny because I just had this conversation with my mom, maybe even yesterday. Like, it feels like I am at campus and like out and about doing things at work, whatnot, more than I am like at home anymore.
That's how I am. My parents are always at the only thing. Like, this is basically the only thing they ask me in the morning. You eating at home or out? Simple. I just say, I'm out today, or I'm eating home tonight, and they were like, okay, bye, love you. I'm like, bye, love you. That's it. Yeah. Literally, that's it.
Yeah.
And I'll come home, and when I do have downtime, either I'm coming home to do some homework, which, that's kind of seldom, but more recently, at least this past week, I've just been, so tired. So I've been at home actually doing homework for once. So that's kind of a revelation. That won't be the case next week. I'll be back on campus doing all that stuff. But, I find myself when I do have downtime, I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping or I'm working on, little side projects that I have going on. And, it's either while I'm at home or while I'm out. I am always doing something. I'd say at least 90% of my life, other than sleeping, I'm out. Like, at least I'm out of the house. I'm doing something. I try to do something productive.
I agree. I'd say actually yesterday, Thursday, was probably the first night in like a while where I found myself with, like, I have a couple hours, like 4 or 5 hours. Like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a little gut punch. It's like, what do you do with those 4 hours?
I was on top of my homework. I already got my lifts in. Like, I just didn't know what to do for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Well, one thing we all do, even though we hate to admit it, is scroll through social media.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever find yourself doing that, like when you shouldn't? Like, obviously, we both said we've gotten good at handling our priorities. You ever find yourself like slipping a little, just scrolling a little bit too much?
Yeah, I'd say like yesterday when I had a lot of time to kill, I did. It was bad with TikTok back when I had that, but
Did you delete it?
Oh yeah, I deleted it maybe before the end of last school year. Like,
oh wow, you deleted it a while ago.
Yeah,
good for you.
And forever.
Good for you. Do you think what do you think the biggest issue is with social media for our generation? I ask this about everyone because it's just inevitable. We all have it.
I know. It was funny.
Did you? I'll rephrase it. Did you ever find yourself? Obviously, we all see the high 1% of kids our age, living the lifestyle that we all think and dream of. We see people like the Tates. We see, all those influencers. You ever find yourself comparing yourself to any of them? Where you're at in your life now, comparing, what they're at in their life.
I'd say somewhat, but at least for me, I'm not the most, like, I wouldn't say social, like, I don't know. Like, I was nervous to come on this podcast, like stuff like that. Putting myself out there on social media is kind of,
that's just never been your thing.
Yeah, it's never been my thing. It's been nerve-wracking for me. So I don't really want that kind of lifestyle where, like the influencer or whatever type of lifestyle. That's just not cut out for me.
Yeah, that's understandable. I feel like a lot of people though in our generation decide to, they're more jealous. I think it's based off jealousy when you compare yourself. And I think that's dangerous. Like, there's no reason to compare yourself to someone else because, maybe they got lucky. Maybe they just were given a skill at birth. I personally believe that luck is preparation and opportunity they meet.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on luck. So it's not necessarily, just success and glory just fell out of the sky. No, I feel like, and that's how I feel, I used to shit talk the D'Amelios all the time and Addison Rae. I just used to say that they had no talent and don't deserve anything they got.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I can't say that they didn't work for it, even though I think that, doing stupid dances on TikTok isn't necessarily work. But at the same time, they found a niche and they know what they wanted to do. So, and they leaned into it and they, it paid off for them. So if anything, that was the jealousy coming out of me. It's like, I feel like I have something to offer.
Yeah.
Something to offer. And like, I feel like I can do something great and get paid millions for it. But, my life priorities have shifted drastically. I don't really care about the money, even though money's great and money's tight right now, especially after all my spending at Chipotle.
No,
but, I'm always the believer. Do you think money buys happiness?
I'm gonna say
age-old
question. It kind of depends on what you value. Like,
that's fair.
My dad's always said it about my brother. Like, he does not need much to like live and be happy. Like, my dad always says he could picture Carter being a minimalist, his house with a couch, a TV set up, like, and he'd be, living the life. So I think it's kind of subjective and depends on, what do you value in life?
That's what he's told me before. It's like, he's a businessman. He knows other businessmen. You know,
Yeah.
he told me about people who, no, they don't have a lot. They're the happiest people on planet Earth. He told me about people that, have it all, but they're miserable. So I'm of the believer that, money doesn't necessarily buy happiness, but money makes your life easier to be happy.
I say there's less stress when money
Exactly.
isn't a problem.
We'd all be rich if money wasn't a thing. Obviously, we have the conspiracies about the elites and everything like that crap. You ever see those on when you're scrolling through social media?
Not often, not anymore.
No? Well, then again, I forgot you got off of TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, I still scroll through reels every now and then.
You watch Joe Rogan's show?
No,
Really? You're like one of the few people.
I've never really watched podcasts until you made yours. That's really the only podcast I've listened to.
That's awesome.
I've listened,
I appreciate that.
besides you, I've listened to Tiny Meat Gang, which is that's Cody Ko and Noel Miller. I don't know if you've seen them on YouTube.
Why does that sound familiar? I don't know.
You've definitely seen them before. I've listened to their podcast before.
Are they comedians? Like,
Yeah.
are they more comedic aspect?
Yeah,
Okay.
comedians, but they don't really like do per se comedy. Like they just have a conversation, but throw in jokes
Of course.
all throughout.
Probably some stupid jokes.
Definitely stupid jokes. Yes.
Of course. We all have, there's always people out there like that. I mean, it is what it is. I've been more, my scrolling hasn't been as bad lately. I seriously find this interesting. It's like whenever I find myself scrolling, I find myself to be, falling into a more miserable mindset. And I think that's honestly something social media does without even, without people noticing. I seriously think that, obviously I'm hypocritical for saying that we need a break from social media, break from technology and everything. Obviously I'm a hypocrite because this is what I'm going to probably be doing for a living. So I'm of the mindset like, the more you're on social media, the more miserable you're going to become if you allow it. Obviously, if you let your anxious thoughts creep in, you start comparing yourself to others, maybe what you do or don't have. It's like, you can find yourself into a dark place real quick.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like if I catch myself scrolling for too long, like I just feel like, oh, I've wasted however much of the last however long it was, half hour. So I definitely think it is a slippery slope.
I find myself, basically what you just said, I find myself, thinking to myself, damn, I wasted all this time. And then I find myself comparing myself to others and what I don't have and compared to what they have. And I'm like, well, guess what? That's 4 more hours that you could have spent working to get anything like that.
Yeah.
You can, whenever you find yourself doing something you shouldn't be doing, like maybe you lost track of time or whatever, and now you're regretting it, just think back as to, remind yourself of the path you're on. Like remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. You're doing it for a bigger and better, purpose for yourself.
Yeah, you gotta stay disciplined.
Thank you. Someone gets it. Consistency and discipline, my man. That's where it comes in.
Yeah, but that's what at least the gym has taught me.
That's true.
Yeah,
A lot of people need to use the gym more for that sort of reason. It teaches you discipline and consistency.
yeah, there are a lot of days where you just won't want to get through the workout. You don't want to do it, but then you'll push yourself. You'll make it all the way through the workout, and then at the end you'll be grateful that you did.
I didn't want to hit legs on Wednesday,
Yeah.
but I did.
That's not
Carter.
surprising. It was not surprising you didn't want to.
Oh, I hate it. I'm still miserable. I still can't walk too well, even though and your brother's gonna call me a liar, but I'm telling my cousin he's gonna be full of it if he decides to come at me about not hitting legs. I've hit legs every single week, at least twice. Twice. Well, yeah, twice. Well, most of the time once, but sometimes twice a week for the past 3 months. So he can't come after me.
That is good. I can't get on you over the summer. Well, I had I forget what the surgery was even called, but I had a surgery done with my gums. I had a couple peaks for receding.
Oh,
But anyways, yeah, they fixed those up, and I wasn't allowed to lift for a while. So I think for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months, like I just wasn't able to
yeah.
do that, to grit my teeth or anything. And then getting back into it was like, that was the worst,
Mm-hmm.
the worst thing ever to drag myself through. Like it took a while.
I bet.
Yeah.
There's one thing I forgot about that we're going to back before we finish up here. We're going to circle back to one thing about, how I was telling you, we were talking a little bit about, priorities and, between having fun and working on, your goals.
Yeah.
I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, I went on spring break this year. I went to Fort Lauderdale. You went to LA, but for different reasons.
San Francisco.
San Francisco for different reasons. Why don't you explain that to people? Because I think this would be interesting for people to hear. Is like, we love to travel when we're going on spring break. Well, my cousin did a little bit something different on his spring break.
I definitely did. Yeah, so spring break of my freshman year, I've been running the business for still under a year at that point, but I knew I wanted to expand my services and grow in the field of car detailing. So over spring break, I found the perfect opportunity in San Francisco to go to a school to learn paint correction and ceramic coating. So all throughout spring break, I was down in San Francisco going to school, learning that hands-on from people who have been in the industry for dozens of years and who have been and proven to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So,
they do it for a living.
yeah, so I learned from some of the best, probably, I can't remember how many hours, maybe like 7 or so hours a day.
For a week?
For the full week, yes.
For a full week. Wow. Isn't that impressive? And I imagine you got asked to go different places, like, for spring break.
Yeah, I did. My friends threw around, I think, getting like a cabin or something. I forget what it was, but like renting out like an Airbnb. So like,
I was about to say, guys, fucking spring? Come on.
like, yeah, renting out like
A beach house, right?
I think it was in or something.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
You should have rented if you guys did, you should have rented the Colonial. Oh, we had some times there. All my friends will know. Oh my God, those are some great times. But it's just it's stuff like that people don't understand. Like, you have to sacrifice time, energy, friendships, not necessarily the friendship as a whole, but like doing things with your friends.
Yeah.
Like, you have to sacrifice your time, your energy, your time with your friends, time with your family in order to achieve your goals. Like, you have to make time to do all that stuff.
Yeah, there is true. Like over the summer, there were plenty of nights. Like, yeah, I went to school and I learned paint correction, ceramic coating, but that was only for, a couple of hours on one vehicle. Like,
Yeah.
especially talking with my dad, he made it like apparent to me that I need to get more hands-on experience and get more comfortable with it before I could actually offer that as a service. So there were many a nights where I would be out working on my own vehicle, my brother's work truck, like whatever it may be, for, I don't know, till 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning,
Just learning.
go to bed. Yeah, just trying to work on my craft.
Yeah. That's how I am right now. I mean, I feel like that's basically what I'm doing, working on my craft is, I've been consistent doing weekly videos. And there was some times, like, I'll be honest with you, that, I didn't want to show up to a recording session. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do that. Well, even though I had schoolwork to do, which, I mean, I always get it done, like, no matter what. I don't know why I stress about it when I know I'll get it done.
Yeah.
I just procrastinate, which is that's one of the bigger things I still try to get over is procrastination.
Yep, me too.
So, in a way, I'm constantly working on my craft, doing this at least once a week. So, eventually, I want to do, I love the name The Lake Show. I thought about doing a rebrand, thought about it, the name wise at least. I don't know yet. And I have a bunch of, like I said before, I have a bunch of ideas I'm trying to run with and think about. If I wasn't in school, obviously I'd have more time to dedicate to that.
Yeah, and I think as long as you, like you said, you're working on your craft, as long as you're out there either trying to work on yourself or work on your passion or work for school, I think that speaks a lot for, the person that you will become one day.
Absolutely. Kyle, I really appreciate you coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So I want one more thing from you. Is there anything you would like to say to the audience, like any advice you would want to give them going through college, or even if they wanted to become a car detailer?
I'm going to say just work hard, stay consistent, stick to your guts. Like, there's a lot of information out there from different perspectives, And I think it's important to, analyze all of them, form your own opinion, and like trust yourself.
There you go, Kyle. Kyle, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks again. I'll leave your service in the description below, so people will know how to find you. Maybe we'll get you some more business.
Okay, that would be nice.
And that's gonna wrap it up this week on the Lake Show. Everyone, be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave some comments down below. I'm your host, Dominic Lakeo. God bless.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe